Jews and Christians have always had a fraught relationship. And I tend to write about the negative aspects of that relationship. But there are also times when things are very good. And the fact that the Ba'al Shem Tov had Jews and Gentiles who came to him for healing, it means something. Or the Jewish women were the midwives to Christian mothers giving birth. But I also would have to say, and I think this is something I also get from my father, which is that if we as Jews can produce someone as extraordinary as the Ba'al Shem Tov, while we're living as a tiny minority in an overwhelmingly Christian country, in pretty much in isolation in Ukraine in the 18th century, these are not cities, these are villages and cut off. But there must have been something positive going on in that Christian world at that time that also made this possible. And because I have to say, when I look at other aspects of Jewish history, other moments when Jews have produced a very different kind of Judaism, let's say, I see what else, what are the Christians doing in that moment and in that place? And somehow there's a reflection. So I would be inclined to say that with all of the terrible things that went on in Ukraine, as we know, that maybe there was also something going on in the Christian world that might have nurtured somehow. Perhaps that's possible. I think one of the great gifts of the Ba'al Shem Tov was the gift of dignity, that he gave Jews an inner dignity and the sense that they were, in fact, people of religious nobility. And that's extraordinary. My sense is that the world that he represented in the Jewish world of that time was a world of people who had very strong emotions and who had very deep yearnings and strong passions, and sometimes felt overwhelmed by those yearnings and didn't quite know necessarily how to articulate them, what to do about them, and sometimes just felt overwhelmed with feelings that they didn't quite understand. And feeling overwhelmed is sometimes paralyzing and can make you miserable, and somehow you need help getting out of that morass. I'm saying that to you because of the people that I knew from Europe who were refugees in America when I was a child and who were elderly Rebbes, or my younger cousins, or my father. All of them, I felt, had that sense. And it wasn't because of the war. It was because that's what it was. Somehow that was an aspect of Jewish life of that era. It was deeply emotional. And so I think that the Ba'al Shem Tov was a person who also experienced that, who was also very introspective, and experienced those feelings, allowed himself to feel them, but also to try to understand them, to articulate them, to explain, and to understand also that these are yearnings for many things. It's a yearning to be close to God. It's a yearning for human understanding, to be understood by someone else, to feel close to other people. And it's a yearning to understand oneself.